Hi, today I'm here with Alex Patterson from Active8 Managed Technologies. Alex, something you and I have talked a lot about in the past is about getting your nursery tech ready for sale. And obviously I'm a big kind of believer in laying the groundwork, planning for sale. When it comes to tech, what are buyers actually really looking for regarding infrastructure and products that kind of will make a nursery appeal to them?
I think what we've seen in the industry, certainly from the big players in the market space that have got the IT director teams within the operation, and they've probably got private backing that are spending a lot on their infrastructure, their tech infrastructure. They are assessing when they're buying these nurseries or smaller group nurseries, they are assessing their technology infrastructure. And what I mean by that is things like, is the Wi-Fi capable of handling a tablet management product like Family, for example, and does it reach around the building for them to work effectively? Is that having an impact on the daily working operations, and what's that going to cost if it isn't, to bring it up to scope of the kind of corporate company? Telephone system, contracts and infrastructure, are they tied into long contracts, expensive contracts? Have they got systems that can be brought into play to integrate with the larger firm? And then more around things like laptops and tablets, and whether they've got the right operating systems, whether they're going to be cyber safe effectively.
That's a big thing,
Yeah, and what that capex is going to look like if they're having to replace, hundreds of laptops and tablets in the first few months of operating because the people selling the business haven't brought the technology up to kind of specification, and puts them at risk if they're buying this business. So yeah, that's what we've kind of seen.
And I think from my side, I see regularly that, it's tricky because a buyer might come to you and say, well, actually, this is what I'm willing to offer, and I know it's less than what you're asking. Now, they won't necessarily always tell you why they're offering less, but if you've got 3 settings and they're working out they need to pay 25 grand per setting for actually infrastructure in the first 6 months, then that is 75 grand off your asking price. So it's just gone. It's not so much that you must have a particular brand of software. Is about the infrastructure and having that in place, because that's the bit that really costs the money, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of scaremongering around cyber security at the moment in the industry, and because there's not a huge amount of experience in buying these products or understanding what these are, it can feel overwhelming and very expensive. I'd say what I'd encourage operators to do if they are considering selling in the medium to long term is making sure that they've audited their business with an IT company, a tech company, to have a look at, well, what does this look like? What's our roadmap for replacement, and what is that investment? Because if it's a small amount, it's worth budgeting for that replacement and making sure that things are up to spec to a level that's going to appeal to maybe someone buying the business.
And from the valuation viewpoint, it's not that if you're looking to sell tomorrow, you don't have to go out and throw £100,000 on the infrastructure. It's just kind of knowing maybe where your pitfalls are, and if there are things that maybe you could bring in prior to sale. For a lot of these things, it's about getting the groundwork in. And often, especially if you're a smallish group, you've got 2, 3, over the years, hopefully you've consolidated contracts and kind of brought them into play anyway, and it's quite a natural evolution. So it's not a massive outlay. What it's going to help you do at the end is achieve the asking price you want, because actually people aren't going to be chipping off because they're going to have to bring things like this in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you guys found that useful. If you have any questions, please drop them below, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Leah.